35 below socks. They are, as seen on TV, cold weather socks. They contain aluminized fibers which supposedly keep your feet warm and dry better than regular socks. Today I'm going to put this product to the test in my review of 35 below socks.
Shall we begin? Let's begin now.
My first impression of 35 below socks without wearing them is I'm not too impressed. They're kind of thin and they're not much thicker than those dress socks my dad used to wear when he would go to work, or dollar store socks that I've bought in the past. That doesn't mean they don't work, that just means they're thinner than I expected, especially when they're cold weather socks. Now, being here in Las Vegas in November when the temperature is in the high 70s, it's going to be difficult to test cold weather socks in this climate, but I've concocted a test that I think will actually do a pretty good job of testing 35 below socks even in this weather. In the commercial, we see a person who's wearing a 35 below sock and a regular sock, and after 15 minutes in the cold, the person steps onto a piece of paper and you can see that the 35 below sock is dry while the regular sock is moist. So I'm going to recreate that test here. Even though it's nice in Las Vegas today, I'm going to put my feet in a bucket of ice for 15 minutes and compare and see if the results are the same as advertised in 35 below socks. Okay, I've got a 35 below sock on my left foot and I've got a Reebok athletic sock on my right foot. I'm going to put my shoes on and stick them in the ice and wait 15 minutes.
Let's begin now.
And we're off. 15 minutes. I already feel some cold on my feet, so this is going to work, I think. As I'm sitting here with my feet in the ice, as you can see, I do have a few observations about 35 below socks. I've washed them several times and they've held up pretty well through the washing, so that's one thing that they have going for them. They feel very thin to me. Wearing around the house, they actually feel thinner than the athletic socks that I typically wear. I'm not particularly fond of the look of them, the kind of shiny, silvery, looks like something that Ozzy Osbourne would have worn back in the 1970s. I don't know, it's a little bit flashy for my taste. But if it works, it might be worth it. You can also wear it as an under sock. That I haven't tried that yet. So if that's the case, you could wear it kind of out of sight and the appearance wouldn't matter so much. I'm at the 5-minute mark. I do feel cold from the ice on both of my feet. I don't know if there's a discernible difference between the two at this point. They both kind of feel equally cold. I'll be interested when the test is over to see if there's a difference in the moisture as the commercial depicts, so we'll have to hang on for that. Just about 2 more minutes left and my feet are definitely cold. So I will be curious how this works, because I made sure not to get my feet wet because I didn't want that to affect it. I wanted the moisture to be from the inside, not from the outside. So the ice is only touching the rubber part of my shoes where it can't soak through. Bailey. $35 below, Reebok. And nothing. Okay, that maybe wasn't the greatest test. There really wasn't any moisture at all on either one of my feet. They do feel cold, but they feel equally cold. I didn't detect a discernible difference between the two, and neither one of them really picked up any moisture during my 15-minute test. So what I'm going to try to do, since I didn't feel much difference in the cold, I'm going to take them on a test that maybe they're not designed for, which is a hot weather test. I'm going to take a run and get them a little bit more sweaty and see if the moisture wicking does in fact work better than regular athletic socks. So I'm going to put a dry pair on of each, and I'm going to hit the road. Just for the fun of it, I want to see what Billy does with all this ice.
What is that?
So my cold weather experiment, I'm not sure if it was just a technical error in my execution or if the socks just end up being about the same, but I didn't feel a discernible difference in the cold in that test. But now I'm taking a walk to see if I can get a moisture difference between the two of them. I walked about a quarter of a mile so far. I'm going to run the rest of the way back. I just wanted to check in and point out that my toes just finished being cold about halfway through this first part of my walk. So my toes were really cold, and they both felt equally cold. Right now I've got 35 below sock and a Reebok athletic sock. I'm doing about a 1 mile trek. I'm going to walk half of it, run the other half, and then I'm going to try the moisture test then and see what kind of a difference there is. I know this isn't really what they're advertising it as, but moisture is moisture, right? It should be a difference whether it's hot or cold.
This is not a drill.
Well, I was just on a 1 mile walk and run, and my feet feel pretty sweaty inside the socks, but I cannot duplicate the effect they had in the commercial where the guy stepped off of the paper and it was soaking wet. So maybe I just don't have feet that are sweaty as he does, but they feel sweaty within my socks, and I don't really feel a difference between the two of them. So both of my feet feel moist, but I can't transfer it to any type of paper as shown in the advertising. So I'm just not really convinced that I can duplicate what they portrayed in the advertising. Well, I tried 35 below socks, and I didn't really distinguish a huge difference between those and regular socks. My moisture test was kind of a bust because I couldn't duplicate the dripping wet feet that was shown in the advertising. Even after a mile run, I couldn't get my feet to be that moist. Again, in the moisture test, both socks felt equivalent to me. In the cold test, both feet felt equally cold. Now that may not be an accurate test as far as how real world cold works, but my feet were cold, but the 35 below socks were not any warmer than the Reeboks that I was wearing. So you may think that, well, 35 below socks didn't really outperform regular socks, so that's a bad thing. But there is a silver lining, and I'm not talking about the silver lining in these socks. Consider that the 35 below socks are thinner than regular socks. If you're using them as an undersock, it won't add as much bulk as if you're wearing two socks at once. So in that case, 35 below socks would work well as an undersock better than a regular sock. I'll keep wearing 35 below socks, and I will post an update if anything changes. If you've used 35 below socks, leave me a comment below and let me know what you think of the product. And if you found this review useful, I would very much appreciate you subscribe so I can continue to bring you, as seen on TV, product reviews in the future. Until next time, this is James White from Freakin Reviews. Thank you.